Good morning, everyone, on this very special occasion. It is fantastic to see you. Just a point of housekeeping, Geshela Sean is also acting as a host, so he can help mute and unmute. And and then also Jennifer can help with mute and unmute. And Jennifer can also help if we want prayers to be up on the screen.
Good.
So this is, yesterday was the 10-year anniversary of when Geshela manifested leaving his physical body. And we've come together today to remember the kindness and the greatness of Geshela, and those who haven't met him, to share our love for him. Geshela, did you want to translate for the Tibetans?
Yeah, Tamchu's here.
Oh.
Tamchu can do that. Oh, we have to make Tamchu unmute. Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Geshe Tsulga-la, 공부조 계사 진짜 주직이 세번 이슈 가서 찍라 공부조네 드링나들로 추코거를 하는 뒤 다 더로추 코웨드네 뒤 두전 라마조드네 참마님도 좀제 안에 간들 가서 신들 제하던데 고갑종한테네 시라 야보 총송.
Okay, and the first thing, if we could, we will start with a bodhicitta motivation and just recite the Refuge Prayer. We'll chant it in our English way, and we'll also recite the 4 immeasurables. So we might be getting it on screen, but if not, I think most of you know that. In the Buddha's until enlightened I seek refuge through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha in the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha. Until enlightened I seek refuge through merit from giving and the rest. To aid all may I become Buddha in the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha. Until enlightened I seek refuge through merit from may all sentient beings have may all sentient beings may all sentient beings never be parted from sorrow. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from violence. Okay, so we have a really lovely program to share this morning, and we're extremely honored and grateful, and it's fantastic in the world of Zoom to have the Geshe Tsulga's students, monks from House 2A in South India joining us, and we're very happy to see you all in one room, most of you, because I know there's been very strong COVID and you've all been in your individual rooms. So it's wonderful to see you in the puja room, and welcome. Damchala.
Okay. 다들이 가서데 다단나 가서 신에 잠도다 생기게 토네 되는 가서 꼴로 전주심 꼴롱 줘버래 한 대차는 다들이 가서 제거들라 망보치우지 야보 제약이 되어 가서나 가서데 다 좀기 가든라 되네 아도 되는 미망보지 저거 가서네 님도 좀좀 총여래 안 하버도 되는 거죠 게시 투가기 가서 가서 강바서 뭐야 강바
샤상
샤잔네드네 근데 뭐 뭐지데 님도 좀좀 총여래 안티 티페하고 시고 총송 안에데 하버도 되는 거죠 단다 디 코비드 나서 되기 전에 미망보지 소스도 나는 되고 거데 나 저랑도 님도 다 좀제 고만나 참마 님도 좀제 되는 단다 신도 저 요버도 통제 배 거시다 총 아니 먼저 참마들 님도 되는 다 신도하고 chains.
So Geshe Tsulga-la left South India, his students at House 2A, because Lama Zopa Rinpoche asked him to come and teach in America. And then he remained in America for 17 years, going home most years to see the monks and so to see his students. And so anyhow, I won't talk too long. I will introduce the other speakers. I'm your MC. I'm Wendy Cook, one of Geshe Tsulga-la's students. And Geshe Tenley will speak next. Our beloved Geshe Tenley, Geshe Tsulga's nephew.
Okay. Okay. 다 갈라다네. 아니 이게 백기 잡자 말해. 다 데리가서서 아니 주종달라야 아니 가디션데 쳐와. 아니 니네가도 자가야. 아니 다 칼리니베 근데 봐. 소래야. 아니 주다. 아니 진지대 강지했던 가디 제외네. 교진이 좀 보기 지투가 공부 존에 로중 코베가 당아서 전소식거나면 돼. 일단 남중에도 못쓰인 바나 아니 배워서다 지지에서 냠도 좀지 아니 가서 라마집에 초다들이 지금 요래 다 대리인 가서 다 뒤서인데 참아 까자셔요 반다 아 된대마고 왜 돈에다 가서 자제다네야 안 잠리 다 쇼강산에 아니 기초서 당가서 아니 베리 소지 아니 냠도 좀지 가서 다들이 간지 계획이야 아니 지금 공조고 전소지야 되지 좀한테 근데 제가 가와서 뭐 좀을
So this is the 10th anniversary of Geshe Tsulga-la's passing away. And Geshe Tsulga-la, who has been extremely kind for the Kurukulla Center, for teaching Dharma for so many years, and especially for the monks in the Seraje, house number 2. And today, we are kind of commemorating his passing away. From all over the world through the internet. Usually, we'll gather together at the Kurukulla Center and make a talk offerings, with the Lama Zopa Guru Puja. But today, we don't have. We've been prohibited from getting together, so we're going to, do all these prayers together over the Zoom.
아니 되는 다 되게 견뎌봐서 아니 당가서 아니 셰싱기 짜와 아니 퍼싱기 짜와 간지 아니 저와 전방고 무슨 응도지 아니 짜와가는데 다 짜와치 차대기 요래 아니 jorna 그래 아 대미세 단당가서 대 담고에 제대로 가서 다 기실라니 바나 땅이마 바지 공로 바지 추측 중이네야 아니 벨라 아니 무도지도 롤 섬지 아니 그디나 롤 jorna지 단니 베나 근데 아리니 아니 사라라 파페베 가라 야프기 게투서 냠도야 아니 무토지 쫄지 아니 기실라 뱀즈들 투녀나 그래 제자 딘디기 제다 아니 드리게 돼봐서 아니 단다 무토지 또 쫄나 그래 아니 무토지데 다 간단 남중가서 아니 로조 제다가 람람다 로조다 또 참이가 짜와 유나면데 맞아 아니 반지라 프라마다 아니 다 제tom베게 단 레바스 그는 짜와서 가지 유나면나 노도치네 에티나 룩샤죠레 아니 짜와서 대 쫄그래 구바초데 기실라 미세게텔야 투뇨나 그래 아텐릭체데 아니 기도 모두 쫄 그래 안간조 치제수 아니 야치 다 텐리기 아니 샤제 냠자 람발라 테니 조다 샹적 셈지아리 되게 제대 하는 가도 슌죽 좀 못줘라 슌죽 안에 레그 줘봐 아 뭐왜 레그 줘 텐데 다 가서
And as a part of the program today, we're going to the sanghas, from the house number 2 will be reciting the ornament of clear-realization by Buddha Maitreya. So the ornament of clear-realization is one of the major, the 5 works of Buddha Maitreya. And the reason why we want to recite that, is because of how Geshe Tsulga-la, was very big fan of this scripture. He's been memorizing this text even since he was in Tibet, maybe 10, 11 years old. Since then, he's memorized this text and he's reciting every time. And even after he came to India, and he will always emphasize the importance of this text and recite it with the monks there. And so therefore, because of that reason, the monks will be reciting this ornament of clear-realization text by Buddha Maitreya. So the ornament of clear-realization is the and is the commentary of Buddha's perfection of wisdom teaching. And so it's it explicitly and implicitly teaches both the method and the wisdom aspect of Buddha's teaching in this text on the ornament of clear-realization. And this is like the the heart, or the you can say the commentary of the Heart Sutra. And so anyway, so this is the main text, so that is studied also. And therefore, because how Geshe Tsulga-la shows his importance of this text, so therefore we're going to, and he's always very glad and happy to recite this with the monks. So therefore we're going to recite that. The monks are going to recite that, and then from the Western side, we're going to recite the 10th chapter of the Guide to the Buddhist's Way of Life. That's one of the great texts, for generating bodhicitta. And the dedication chapter of that Guide to the Buddhist's Way of Life. That's what we're going to be reciting.
아니 단다 겐데 봐서 다 바지 남주인데 것도 다 주소게 주소 아니 겐데 봐서 록바체 되게 소수 젠다체 되게 망보이네 다 바지 대상 가지 가서 바지 무슨 두고요 말이야 다 대상 마치 아프게 이제 요래요 가지 잘에 사실 셴바를 주되게 되나 한데 편 맞은 거 되네 요래서.
And then there are many sponsors of the sanghas of the house number 2 who are sponsoring individually the monks there. And so many of them are here on the Zoom, and some of them are not able to come because of different engagements. They're not able to come here.
Okay. Okay, I like that.
Okay. Thank you, Geshela, for outlining the program. I would like to introduce Harry Duval. Harry is is a longtime student of Geshe Tsulga. He has been to India at least once or twice or more to visit House 2A for teachings. Harry is also the chair of the Geshe Tsulga Nonprofit Corporation, and I would like to hand over to Harry for him to explain what that is and a bit more who he is and your connection with Geshela, Geshe Tsulga, and House 2A. Thanks, Harry.
Good morning, good people. Tashi Delay, Sarah J. House 2A, Tashi Delay. Thank you, Geshe Tenley. Thank you very, very much for very many things. Thank you also, Sean and Wendy. With great vision and compassion, Geshe Tsulga and Bill Judge established a monk sponsorship program in 1993. For many years, the program was kindly and ably shepherded by Venerable Sumala. And after Geshe Tsulga's passing 10 years ago, a new organization was formed according to his wishes, and it was then named for Geshe Tsulga and now has the name of the Geshe Tsulga Nonprofit Corporation for Sarah J. House 2A monks and affiliates. Of course, the program has always been closely connected to Kurukulla Center, always with Geshe Tsulga, and subsequently Geshe Tenley central to the operations and the connection with House 2A. I have been sponsoring a monk for 14 years, almost to the day. Tashi Delay, Lokadi, Lobsang Kalden, Tashi Delay. And thank you to Geshe Sonam for many years of guidance and friendship. As Wendy said, I have been blessed to visit House 2A at Sergey 3 times. And it is a wonderful community. It's wonderful to see everybody gathered in the puja room this morning. It is a wonderful community, very kind, very caring, serious about studies and practice, very joyful. Since the monk sponsorship program was started, the organization has sponsored very close to 100 people. Currently, there are 78 active sponsorships, of which 68 are monks, 4 are nuns, and 6 are refugees, primarily from Kham, Tibet, Geshe Tsulga's home. More info can be found at GesheTsulga.com. I encourage you to check it out. I'll conclude my remarks by thanking all of our sponsors, present and past, and our current board, Bill Judge, Andrea Judge, Jane Larson, Deborah Thornburg, and Bob Dunn, with Venerable Sue Macy as our guiding director, and with Geshe Tenley as our spiritual advisor. Thanks for the opportunity to say a few words, and stay well all. Please stay well.
Harry, thank you so much. Damchala, would you like to give a recap of that for the non-English speaking people?
I think that's not necessary. So I think everybody understands that.
Okay, cool. Main thing was Harry's smiling face, and I could see the House 2A monks smiling back. So then moving right along, then I'd like to hand the floor, the Zoom meeting, over to House 2A monks. And if I imagine, Geshela, you have lined up 1 or 2 of them to say hello and give a few words and perhaps some memories or what Geshe Tsulga meant to them, help us understand. You can see Geshela on the throne. Can everyone see Geshe Tsulga on the throne in the room? So anyway, welcome to House 2A monks. Geshela, who will be speaking? Oh, unmute Geshela. Unmute Geshela.
또 칼리 니베가 다 까미나게 됐어요, 봐.
Is it Geshe Tsulga or Geshe Pelje?
안에 까미나게 됐어요, 다 표셔.
Oh, Geshe Pelje.
드림 가서 다 교육진이 좀 게시에 처리 집에 구바존에는 로쪽 그 뒤에 같은 내가 갈 드림 가서는 게시에特大件的동보 까메 까방가 노래 때 가르스나는 교육진이 좀 게시에 처가 주 가서 콜레니 바게 게티 절 가드 침보 가세 이메 콜 수시에 까방가 노르로 너디지 노르 리시야 이
he's the MC. Okay, thank you. Thank you, unmute. Yeah, good.
Because again, Geshe Tuten Dargesa.
Geshe Tuten Darge.
Yeah. So Geshe Tuten Darge will be speaking for about 5 minutes and explaining about the great kindness of Geshe Tsulga-la.
라서 Geshela 표셔.
다 사말에 표시될 수 있다. 대리행도 게으름 보시니 교육진이 좀 계시 소가죠. 네 본바존에다 롱어죠. 거기에 아래 같이 지탱이 네
그동 기바된
준비 와이파이 또 준비다. 쉬게 거기 지키래. 그래서 온다더니 자외 다가는 단도만도 대가노리 베콜레니 베기 아니 게주기 예사마다 다나시게다 줄로
시제다 아리 나리에 아니 방마 삼아 년도 됐으나 근데 계좌 소야게 고가지 도체 총그래 근데 손자 아니 그거 당가 소소이나 있는데 가보셔라 아니 근데 손자는 참말이야 참도 쉬어이 드리타 또 게르모지 말한서래
오케이 대다 담주 봐 주고 이래 담주 괜찮을래
So on this occasion, of Geshe Tsulga-la's passing away about 10 years ago, we're all very happy and grateful, to be able to come together, and all the students, from the Sera Monastery, and also all the students, from around the world, to come around to be together on the Zoom and do the prayers.
Okay, Geshela.
근데 소자들이 다 먼저 게는 뭐지 네 시다게지 뭐네게 딱까지 가장이까지 전부래 근데 소자들이 까지지 다 미사게 나도 나타비 두시네 게마투 바도 시네 시마시바 근데 얘기까지 저보지 차디어래 자외 먼저지 가르쳐버리지 게로 뭐지 다 달라서 먼저 니디도 주인한테 들이 된디 춘절에 게로 뭐지 뒤지게 다 먼저 지 가르쳐버렸다 튼더 초종소 배야다 아니지 그게 로발로니 하고 제보야다 아니지 뭐게 장래에 자치고 도시나게 뒤지되기다 발라 니디도 또 점차되게 근데 선자 드리면서 딱까지 지대 쉐기 고가시키디아데 근데 선자다 먼저 제단이 쳔베 먼저지 제바클 수면 제바 주에 되는 데니 이제 그런데 상계 지대시에 소마 나진기 라마 지대시에 다 상계 지대시에 대소소 당하면서 순기제와 이렇게 미사기 가서 그게 지대시에 다 라미까지에 다 상계제 까지에 개침을 차디하래 근데 성사다 말아서 처음에게 게르무체게 라자나마데 소체데 셈바송고 제보야 다 아니 제가도 게두선데 데베리리아 제 그게 로로니 소워시샤 돈에 페고야다 NH 지기지리야 통화하고 제보에 어떻지네 깔아 된는 거 예배자 아니 뒤에 관계에게 먼저 관계에게 들이 이런 거지 송지 아니 지대시에게 아니 니데 니보를 듣자대 관계에게 아니 맞아 나게 기침을 해서
그래서 담주
그러니까
대다 Geshela 대쇼
There's 통통소나 게 상황에 로라. Anyway, so Geshe Tsulga-la, who has been extremely kind, especially for the monks in here. His kindness is unfathomable or unexpressible, by a mere word. And he has been very, very kind. And kindness is in supporting the monks, to have all the facilities, to be able to do their studies and to do the practices, and to advise everybody to cultivate the welfare of others, thinking about the welfare of others, cherishing others, more than oneself, and so forth. And so just like it is said, the best way to repay the kindness of Guru or the Buddha, is by following, their teachings, and by carrying on the practice just as they have advised. And so I would like to encourage everybody, to study and practice, just as our teacher Geshe Tsulga-la and all the Buddhas have taught, to be kind-hearted, to others.
그래서 Geshela 통신다.
그래서 도시안에 다가 다대는데 도나트리 당아서 게르모체기 갈라고 수마데 참에기 녀되기라데 아니 마체데 게레 게르모체네 시행중에 인중에도 손트닝에 되는 차디아데 아니 다 달로사와데 좀요아레테 이나가 게르모체긴 저버텔레데 타코페게 나게니다 데차디긴서 관계기 체투바다 투투바투 차디아레 드레송자 게르모체기 공부카레이바다 게르모체기 뒤준데게 깔라니데라고 가이바데 참에기 안체세다래 단대 성자 관계에게 아니 되게 날게 투바타 아니 되게 간도 콜레지베 자기의 참여에게 아니 파지지 자와 아니 제도 상계에게 송도 제도 진에 송구에 뒤에 자와라 때네 게름부체기 아니 배투도 공부도 김에 여서던 주티에 아니 또 드리는게 게다 강사바테 런자나지 아니 가딜라나 마시바 컨서션게 전부초 아니 그때 진짜로 제베 저런도에 아니 멘도지 참말에 테스텔레시에 투체.
And so with that, just like I said, to try to follow the teachings of the Geshe Tsulga-la. So most of you have heard him and seen him in person, and those of you who have not seen him or heard in person, because his teachings are so bright like a sun, so it will be heard by everybody. And so just main things to follow the advice of the Geshela, and to practice as much as one can according to his instructions, and that's the most important thing. And then also to follow his advice. The sanghas here are going to be reciting the ornament of clarification and the root text, and just like Geshe Tenley mentioned earlier. And then so we'd like to at the end we'd like to dedicate this merit for the teachings of the Buddha to increase, and for all sentient beings to be happy and free from sufferings, and especially for all the holy wishes of His Holiness the Lama to be fulfilled just as he has taught.
Okay, Wendy.
Okay, thank you so much, Geshe Tupten-Daje. And so the chanting, the monks, the monks at House 2A will chant, as we've said a few times, the ornament of clear realizations. It was very wonderful to hear Geshe Tenley talk about why this is really special, how Geshe Tsulga had it memorized and so forth. So Geshela, this will take about 15 or 20 minutes for recitation, I believe.
20 minutes, yeah.
20 minutes.
About 20 minutes.
And so we can listen, receive imprints, meditate on the advice that Geshe Tupten-Daje just gave us with regards to practicing the teachings, being kind-hearted, and so forth.
Also, that was
당하는데 내가 빠지러 다는데 계셔라.
내가 니 밤에 샹주도 좀 제일
어요.
저거 강가 통되어지다. 다기 동시. 단다 배워서 응도지 단다 게드바서 응도지 쫄나 그래. 아니 단당이 가시 응도지 단다 파피셔요. 아니 응도지 싸워. 그래서 다이나 차서 가리 존나 휴점 쫄쇼티 대쪽대고 가라 설레 깨지 잡아 마시는데 나 강한 수용 그래도 밤중에 줬다나 메시지 따다 응도지. 별로 깨시마다 고된 것도 제시마 고된 것도 찾아. 남주 쫄아나지 자동 암라 쳐고. 미사다 레프지 부딪히다. We start to report for the Lama Zopa. Now they start to dress their tracks. This is a tea offering. We have tea. Okay, then now monks have the tea. I think the Western can recite the guide to the Bodhisattva fourth chapter. No, the 10th chapter. 아니 다 기능마도 아니 소자 갈래지 주 아니 그것도 바꾸잖아. 아니 콘조 쉬어주도 내셔 그래. 저도 깨 샤주도 샤주 jel시. Okay, Wendy, I think you guys can recite the monks have the tea.
Okay, wonderful. just before we start to recite, I had wanted to share this one picture of Geshe Tsulga-la. It was taken by a devoted student, Chris Snibby. And this picture was taken up in the late 90s, I believe, when Geshela and Geshela lived in East Somerville. And it's, to me, one of the most extraordinary pictures of Geshela. And Geshela is looking at Lama Atisha. And I've always felt that Lama Atisha and Geshela look exactly the same in this photo. Like, to me, it's just no difference. And so very grateful for Chris Nibby to snap this incredible photo.
Good.
I can see a lot of
And
smiles.
the more party is party get to Nimbachi Japture, more Cadena Pet Tenderio, Geshela do and Georgi Chibaron Tokyo, and Gedabas also legend is here, and the Kondo Tibar Shunju the Shagre. Okay, when do you guys can start?
Okay. All right. So I
A
wanted to
Kondo
share.
and a mobile legatin.
Okay, so we'll put the words on the screen and we will recite while the monks have tea. We'll recite the Shantideva's 10th chapter, the dedication chapter from the Bodhicharya Avatar, the guide to the Bodhisattva's way of life.
Can you see that okay, Wendy?
May all sentient beings be graced with the Bodhisattva way of life by the virtue I have obtained while reflecting on a guide to the Bodhisattva way of life. Through my merit, may all those in all directions who are afflicted by bodily and mental sufferings obtain oceans of joy and contentment. As long as the cycle of existence lasts, may their happiness never decline. May the world attain the constant joy of the Bodhisattvas. As many hells as there are in the world, may beings in them delight in the joys of contentment and sukhavati. May those afflicted with cold find warmth. May those oppressed with heat be cooled by oceans of water springing from the great clouds of the Bodhisattvas. May the forest of sword leaves become for them the splendor of a pleasure grove, and may the sword-like salmali trees grow as wish-fulfilling trees. May the regions of hell become vast ponds of delight, fragrant with lotuses, beautiful and pleasing with the cries of white geese, wild ducks, ruddy geese, and swans. May the heap of burning coal become a mound of jewels. May the burning ground become a crystal marble floor. And may the mountains of the crushing hell become temples of worship filled with sugatas. May the rain of burning coal, lava, and daggers from now on become a rain of flowers. And may mutual battling with weapons now become a playful flower fight. By the power of my virtue, may those whose flesh has completely fallen off, whose skeletons are of the color of white jasmine flower, and who are immersed in the river Vaitarani, whose water is like fire, attain celestial bodies and dwell with goddesses by the river Mandakini. May the horrifying agents of Yama, crows, and vultures suddenly watch, hear in fear. Those looking upward behold blazing Vajrapani in the sky and wonder, whose is this brilliant light which dispels darkness all around and generates the joy of contentment? May they depart together with him, freed of vice through the power of their joy. A rain of lotuses fall mixed with fragrant waters. It is seen to extinguish the unceasing fires of the hells. May the beings of the hell suddenly refreshed with joy wonder, what is this? And may they see Padmapani. Friends, come quickly, cast away fear. We are alive, a fragrant, radiant vanquisher of fear. A certain prince in a monastic robe has come to us. By his power, every adversity is removed, streams of delight flow, the spirit of awakening is born, as is compassion, the mother of protection of all beings. Behold him whose lotus feet are worshipped with tiaras of hundreds of gods, whose eyes are moist with compassion, on whose head a stream of diverse flowers rains down. With his delightful summer palaces celebrated by thousands of goddesses, singing hymns of praise. Upon seeing Manjughosha before them, may the beings of the hells immediately cheer. Through my virtues, may the beings of the hells rejoice upon seeing the unobscured clouds of bodhisattvas, headed by Samantabhadra and bearing pleasant, cool, and fragrant rains and breezes. May the intense pains and fears of the beings of the hells be pacified. May the inhabitants of all miserable states of existence be liberated from their woeful states. May the animals' risk of being eaten by each other disappear. May the pretas be as happy as the people in Uttara Kuru. May the pretas always be satiated, bathed, and refreshed by the streams of milk pouring from the hand of noble Avalokiteshvara. Excuse me. May the blind always see forms, and may the deaf hear. May pregnant women give birth without pains, as did Maya Devi. May they acquire everything that is beneficial and desired by the mind: clothing, food, drink, flower, garlands, sandal paste, and ornaments. May the fearful become fearless, and those struck by grief find joy. May the despondent become resolute and free of trepidation. May the ill have good health. May they be freed from every bondage. May the weak become strong and have affectionate hearts for one another. May all regions be advantageous to all those who travel on roads. May the purpose for which they set out be expediently accomplished. May those who journey by boat succeed as they desire. May they safely reach the shore and rejoice with their relatives. May those who find themselves on wrong paths in dreary forests come upon the company of fellow travelers, and without fatigue may they journey without fear of bandits, tigers, and the like. May deities protect the dull, the insane and deranged, the helpless, the young and the elderly, and those in danger from sickness, the wilderness, and so on. May they be free from all lack of leisure. May they be endowed with faith, wisdom, and compassion. May they be possessed of stature and good conduct. And may they always remember their former lives. May they be inexhaustible treasuries, just like sky treasure, free of conflict or irritation. May they have independent way of life. May beings who have little splendor be endowed with great magnificence. May unattractive wretches be endowed with beauty. May the women in the world become men. May the lowly obtain grandeur and yet be free of arrogance. Through this merit of mine, may all beings without exception abstain from every vice and always engage in virtue. Not lacking the spirit of awakening, devoted to the Bodhisattva way of life, embraced by the Buddhas and free of the deeds of Maras. May all beings have immeasurable lifespans. May they always live happily, and may even the word death disappear. May all quarters of the world be delightful with gardens of wish-fulfilling trees, filled with the Buddhas and the children of the Buddhas, and be enchanting with the sounds of Dharma. May the ground everywhere be free from stones and rocks, smooth like the palm of the hand, soft and made of lapis lazuli. May the great assemblies of bodhisattvas sit on all sides. May they beautify the earth and their own resplendence. May all beings unceasingly hear the sound of Dharma from the birds, from every tree, from the rays of light, and from the sky. May they always encounter the Buddhas and the children of the Buddhas. May they worship the spiritual mentor of the world with endless clouds of offerings. May a God send rain in time, and may there be an abundance of crops. May the populace be prosperous, and may the king be righteous. May medicines be effective, and may the mantras of those who recite them be successful. May dakinis, rakshasas, and other ghouls be filled with compassion. May no sentient being be unhappy, sinful, ill, neglected, or despised, and may no one be despondent. May monasteries be well established, full of chanting and study. May there always be harmony among the Sangha, and may the purpose of the Sangha be accomplished. May monks who wish to practice find solitude. May they meditate with their minds agile and free of all distractions. May nuns receive provisions and be free of quarrels and troubles. May all renunciants be of untarnished ethical discipline. May those who are of poor ethical discipline be disgusted and become constantly intent on the extinction of their vices. May they reach a fortunate state of existence, and may their vows remain unbroken there. May they be learned and cultured, receive alms, and have provisions. May their mind streams be pure and their fame be proclaimed in every direction. Without experiencing the suffering of the miserable states of existence and without arduous practice, may the world attain Buddhahood in a single divine body. May all sentient beings worship all the Buddhas in many ways. May they be exceedingly joyful with the inconceivable bliss of the Buddhas. May the Bodhisattva's wishes for the welfare of the world be fulfilled. And whatever the protector's intent for sentient beings, may that be accomplished. May the Pratyekya Buddhas and Shravakas be happy, always worshipped by the lofty gods, asuras, and humans. Through the grace of Manju Gosha, may I always achieve ordination and the recollection of past lives until I reach the joyous ground. May I live endowed with strength in whatever posture I am. In all my lives, may I find plentiful places of solitude. When I wish to see or ask something, may I see the protector Manjunath Majunata himself without any impediment. May my way of life be like that of Manjushri, who lives to accomplish the benefit of all sentient beings throughout the 10 directions. For as long as space endures and for as long as the world lasts, may I live dispelling the miseries of the world. Whatever suffering there is for the world, may it all ripen upon me. May the world find happiness through all the virtues of the bodhisattvas. May the teachings that is the sole medicine for the suffering of the world and the source of prosperity and joy remain for a long time, accompanied by riches and honor. I bow to Manju Gosha, through whose grace my mind turns to virtue. I salute my spiritual friend, through whose kindness I become stronger. And then
Okay.
that was the dedication chapter, and then the King of Prayers is...
I think Wendy, I think we
Yes.
can also, the monks not finish. We skip the King Prayer.
Oh.
The King Prayer, everyone do their, they're just their own, because also we have some speakers. The monks
Okay,
not
so
done
we
yet. They just finished
so King-
chapter 4.
So King of Prayers is homework for later today.
Yeah,
We can
everyone homework, okay?
wish. And then, so the monks will continue. They were having tea break, and now they're continue with
Yeah.
the ornament realizations.
Yeah, they just finished chapter 4. Now 5, 6, 7, 8. It's like we already study for 70 topic. This is like a root text. Also, only that also Muntuni in the get it. I think that some monks went to the bathroom. If you want to go to the bathroom, also you can go. This is that we already studied like 70 topic. They're reciting the root text that. Okay. What tell us about Kali.
Quite late at Sarah, isn't it? It's
It's like 9 o'clock.
oh, 9 p.m.
Almost 10 o'clock, yeah.
Okay, not too late.
Yeah.
Not 2 a.m.
We have some other speakers, right?
Yes, we have Tupten Anyatang and Bill, and then I read from Tsula, and then Bill Judge, and then Pat Venter.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, this is interest puja. We're together.
Very nice.
Yeah, the 21st century to technology, we all come together. I think maybe you guys are also very grateful, you never hear, complete research the root text in the Panjara Paramata, the monks. Usually the 4th chapter and the 4th chapter is pretty long. Then 5 and 6 are pretty short, and 7 and 8 a little bit longer is no problem. And to the Muto Je Tati Jukma Chonsho, and the Chons of the Tesha and the convocation Kajango or Jamju Shed the Kodan Tamaiji. Lasso Udunarona Umzela. Oya, tatesha. Tatesha. They didn't hear me. There is a 21 prayer Tara. Yeah, they just missed the schedule. Sure. They reset the second time. No, they couldn't hear me. the offering the sanghas. Now the dedication. Now they decided he told this long line. I think they couldn't hear my. Not the dedication for whoever there's the connections. Okay, now they finish. They won't go to dedication, maybe they can just go ahead now. Oh, yeah, that's the pressure.
단단데 나도 다 니빠데 가르르잖아. 로로바 게시 체르다시거니 나도들 다들이 게시라고 챔비가라니 게티 소소소소 같더니 제세노 소야기 체들라 가시고 벌레 동네 가시고 쳇동네 가시고 든 자동네 가시고 게자 가시고 챔메 샤데제 드네 돈제는 거네 그더니 팀메 샤지 돈제는 거네 샤지 셔야도니 그러고 나도 게시라고 나도 노지 깔로 노래로 깔로 문지 또데 가리 메토라 아니 로로바 체르다시 그러고 시시까마 스네가 다티 바로지로 농레시아이
Now the Lama Geshe Tsulga-la, who's going to dedication? Also today also some monks get sponsored tea and money and offering lights. Then also he will what Geshe Tsulga-la advice for all of us. He will say 3 to 4, 5 minutes. Okay. Tamju deyo. Tamju. Okay, good. Yeah. Lazo Geshela kanyo so na. Talk then go talk it.
야, 다 찍하시지 싶어지. 아니, 산지 논제를 거나 다 동버들은 찍하시지 싶는데 나와주소. 아니, 대리당 알아서네. 가리스데 교신이 좀 계속 집에 초게는 그거가 다 이제 로증코는 제제지 쳐대려리. 뒤토라니 녀주노에 샤네 게리 집대당. 아니, 손다토를 주변에 당하고 토는 녀주노에 그랬더니 지로 파마 양을 아니 먼저 다 콜레 니베가니 게로 용기 가데 또스 비나니 몸이 산저도 아니 채널 같은 녀주노에 투지 체세 토마텔라더니 어떻게 지내시면서
왜 다야 대샤 담주대 빠지고
And so again, on this occasion, of Geshe Tsulga's passing away of 10 years ago, and who is very kind to all of us in all three times, past, present, and future, who is more kinder than all the Buddhas of the past, present, and future. And so on this occasion, I would like to greet all and thank all for coming together and for supporting in any way you can.
That's all.
Oh yeah. Tene ta ngazo lame jete sin noji ta yoro la. Oh ro so so lame jete je de bari. Tene lame jete je de ani khari chene jete je ge yore se la na ani jinse du gi pa ni de tone. Ta lame jete de je ge yore sang. Tene yi za ha jinse de khari re se la na ani ha chang ta kari chen bo yi ba. 아니 치도 성지 관계 되는 선호도 있는 하죠 까지 전부 쳐대요. 아니 빼는 먼저 아니 제로부터 총주라리 전부 놀러 아니 선배 댄서 가지고 자와 대화 좀 하다 아니 까지 제스 전에 개발시 봐서 사진이 여러 봐. 뒤놀러 까지 제스 전에 개발시 봐서 사진이 놀러 아니 사진 저장요. 뒤놀러 가려야 되잖아. 아니 라마 산지를 봐비 까지 쳐와서 손을 동거에 지방 아니 치순비 가정스 시지 신jel로 가정스 아니 송수군 코드비 가정스다 사실 지토는 라면 가정 어디서 자가 요리 대다원 노지가 단단한서 라마텔라니 된데가 다 체지 강가 상대 예와 있어 하정도 다 가리 전부 있어 내가 차리 가리 제제 제때 진세 된데 지리스 기바데 간데 지리스라나
오야 다 되셔 되셔 오야
And so this is the occasions and also to remember the kindness of our guru, the guru who has been very kind to us in many ways. So there is a reason and also the necessary, to remember the kindness of the guru. The reason, is just like it is explained in the great Lamrim by Lama Tsongkhapa. Therefore, the guru, who has been kinder, than the Buddhas, and a guru, being very kind by teaching the Dharma and by blessing the mind streams, of the disciples, and the kindness, for providing all the materials, and the teachings of the Dharma. And so, because of this reason, so this Lama, the Geshe Tsulga-la, who has been kind in all these ways, therefore, is very important, to remember his kindness.
That's all, Geshela.
아야 아니 다 기바데 간데지는 아니 방에 봐발도 체와 통제 용봉네 아니 라마 체와 용다도 대내변은 그제지 이제 좀 더 번저스면 난지고 아니 다 체와 때는 하소지 얘들와 아니 아시 체와 넘기 체와 소위 체와 대권한지 체와라 수비 체외노도 몸보지서 다 대도는 nomode 근데 라마 체와 때 답이 할래가 아니 소소사 전부도 나 근데 예와 이제 대라 때네 아니 지 라마를 때문에 당신이 저 공야 아니 보고도 던져 보고 간도 던져 아니 tweet 봐야 라마 산소비 시라고 저는야 아니 산로지 또봐 간에 건데 배야 체바 더요 아니 세원의 체라 통제도 세대 라마 담바도 만다와 아니 제스 주야다 근데 그때 내 체와지 예와 이제 기빠 근데 지 체도 제대 체비요 예스
That's all, Tamju. Unmute. Tamju. Oh. Hekonjo. Okay. Yep.
Okay. All right, and then the necessity, to think about or remember the kindness of the guru. Because of all the kindnesses the guru has shown, and the benefits of remember the kindness and following the advice of the guru. So all the benefits, like if we remember the kindness of the guru and follow the advice, then there's all these benefits. One will be one will have all the realizations of the paths and grounds. Once one will be protected by all the deities and dakas and dakinis, And most of all, one will be always cared by a valid, a qualified, spiritual friend in all our lives.
라서 계시라 강연중이다.
어야 근데 이사다 라마 채와라 다 라마 채와 뭐 예비 놀로네 근데 라마 당니네 그게 투니오 영향은 채와 대다 가지도 저게 채와서야 돼 대리스.
And so, of the many offerings, that we make, there's offerings, to the Guru, offerings, the external, internal, the secret, offerings, the suchness offerings, and so forth. So the offering, the best of all these offerings, is the offering to the Guru, and so the best offering to the Guru, is to follow the advice, of the Guru, just as he or she has instructed.
라서 계시라.
근데 제롬버 체가 다 되는 더실len수 전예비 된데 레번데비 싸워는 라티시니 땅과 레버 소도제에 처제 때마다 돈의 수비전이 뭐또 까지도비 최원이 와신 난중해 가서 년례때 단대도 좀 대지숑사 순번 나지고 단도나 리롱셰도 제바다 예스 통제 라메가도 라테는 수대가 이자 방안절라면 니바시비가 더니 드베체와 여슈때 라메 까도바도 저거야 다 라메 까대로 다조 아니 상주 마차바 야와 이자 나타비 제니가 말이때 이나야 다 디노네 차셔장이 제베이나 근데 저때다 탈람 제야 아니 신이 야보때야 아니 계제 거와 야보자야 아니 초치라 하와하니라 소바 대다 야보제야 제바 단요 디부 게드 야보제가 디노는 미세가 게코로나죠 잔다더니 간소라도 쉬마라 아니 고종 야보제가 그리스 어때 요네 용도 쓴거 아니 근데 이자 아니 저도라 소바 대다기 간소다 표정 단소 아니 다가시 사와 많이 봐 아니 디도 넘바거든 만징이네 아니 멜라 작동 체체 작거리스 네 순거야래 어때도 디바이나 아니 된도 다 젠 팬도 예비 뭐지 제거리스 다게 까데 소테리스
And so just like it is said again by Lama Tsongkhapa that that we have to properly devote to the Guru through thought and actions, and so the most the through and a thought is by following, so by following how do we follow and how do we repay the kindness of the Guru is by following his or her advices, and and so for especially for the ordains, they are all people who are sponsoring or benefactors for supporting them, to think about to dedicate for them, and to especially for the monks, to do the practice of the accumulations and the purifications, and most of all, always to engage in the virtuous actions, and to to abandon the non-virtuous in the actions, and in short, to have good heart towards all.
Oh yeah, 아니 다 대분들이 통해 메시지라 아니 당간서 게도 대화 예비가 아니 치료 보모 게제 처마가 아니 대도 나바그 게 깔로tin 히나 존네 로소소 건 니니가 아니 까이 공바테 드타바지 노로세네 셰야이 아니 데리가 다 제테 니토라 아니 간서 아니 카도 만다비가 당 간서 코네 니발라 아니 니슈 주스네 자쇼노이가 아니 제도 나바 전서 단단간서 단어톤인 제와 만제와다 몽보지 신소 제와 전서 뱀 마시비 간서 겔로 용조 아니 가고 신세네 셰야이 아니 전서를 당니슈 주스네 간서 자쇼노게 야와 이자 아니 겔로 용기 아니 니타바네 아니 제나발 투지체세네 셰야이.
And then all the people who have connection is not have the connection with the Geshela. So I would like to request to all of you to follow his advice and practice just as he has taught, and then especially I would like to thank all the sponsors who have supported the monks of the house number 2, directly and indirectly for supporting in every way. We'd like to thank all of you, and some we're able to see some of you here, and some we're not, but we're very happy to see all of you here.
Oh yeah, 다 됐다. 다 디샤 샤준도 루추와지.
샤제도 차도로 먹어 계시라 차도로 먹어지 다또 디디체쇼 디디쇼 거로서.
Oh yeah, 다니 다자주이다.
남자지 다 남랑시 샤지강로 먹어지.
Oh yeah, 샤는 디소 림보치 샤주도 기소 게시 나온 천례 당 아니 계신 거를 도지 그 빈체 아돈나데 우도 당 아니
They go dedication the names.
제 계신 거를 도지 계시 춘드 아니 첸데 경로노존 장요 아니 계시 로존 이시 라스베가 다 근데 뭐라 아니 니가 셰비가 개베자와 대당 뒤수도 서비 개잖아 쇼지도 담바도 채와도 다 데리고 뒤수 제제 셰비가 다 챔비 개자도 제 개자 강예와 대탕체 쇼지도 담비 탈라 때네 실 때마 제와도 로데와 채와 다요 아니 로죠 나라 다 가리신데 체비거든요 제전 장면 어로서지 딘지자서 소소지 소바미 대배선 뭐 초당 아니 샤지 세월은 뭐 챔비 댄지 시원나 그세 댄지 잔트 제바 당 아니 단대가 아니 제가 숑타 콜리지 게트 넘버 2가 아니 산데나 이제든 저 태야 당 제바도 다 제조 콘솔 아니 대단 프리가 셀레라 때네 시원의 차라 탕제도 제대지 기회신이 그 제선 선바 당 롱로 나가지 시고 간대지 예와 있는 도서 탕제 아니 일라레와다 저 특비가 아니 다 상주 내지 많이 봐지 노노세네 시게.
And so and now I would like to request, for the dedication, of all the merits, accumulated, and especially by, like Geshe Tenley and all other Geshe, Geshes and other monks who sponsored and who made offerings, for today's event, and so including all that, all those all those merits and the merits of all the people and all the sentient beings accumulated throughout the 3 times. I would like to dedicate for in general for all the sentient beings to be happy, and for the teachings of the Buddha to increase and flourish all around. And also please dedicate for would like to dedicate for His Holiness the Lama and Lama Zopa Rinpoche and all other gurus teachings the true path, to have long and stable life, and for all their holy wishes to be fulfilled just as they have intended. And then especially for all the students of Geshe Tsulga-la, to have a very successful spiritual virtual life, a virtuous life, and to be able to meet with the spiritual master, qualified spiritual master in all their lives, and to be able to carry on all their practice just as they've been instructed by their gurus.
Okay, thank you, Wendy.
Wow.
They did dedication. I think we don't need to extra dedication.
Okay,
I
so
think now you start to the another speech. 단당가서 깨지시는 가시 요래 긴드바테 쇼로나. 아니 이게
Yes.
저저 깨데 까까셔기 아니 저라도 깨시는 데 요래 파트. 파트 페만도 같이 주대로나.
So now I think we've been part of real puja we've really attended real puja at Sarah J. And very, very special. I just felt very special for this to be happening like this with technology. Incredible. So now I would like to invite some 4 speakers just to speak short time. We're a bit over. And the first is Thupten Anyetsang, and Thupten-la knew Geshe Tsulga in Kham in Tibet. And so I'd like to invite Thupten-la to say a few words. You need to unmute. Hang on. Thupten's iPhone can unmute.
Unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
You can just say English, just 2 words.
So, okay, thank you. Hi everyone. Good afternoon. I guess this is afternoon now. My name is Thupten Anyetsang, as I was introduced, and it's good to see so many of monks from Sarah J, and excellent puja, and also many on this Zoom. And so as I was requested by Geshe Ngawa to speak a couple of minutes or 3. So I'll summarize this within this short minutes. In token of Geshe, late Geshe Tsulga-la's memory. So actually now, this will be really brief. So 3 minutes is not much. So Geshe Tsulga, we were from same area, from Kham, Tehor, and a few miles apart. And when Geshe Tsulga, when he was 7 years old, and he joined Trashitaje Monastery, one of the biggest and learning center in our area, and headed by Geshela, is known as Sholu Champakedu, who was also a former candidate for His Holiness Dalai Lama's debate tutor. Anyway, so Geshela studied there as a monk for reading, writing, and memorization, recitings, and debating all those from many teachers. And eventually, at age of 17, so he traveled to Lhasa, Tibet for further studies in Buddhist theology and joined Sera Che Monastery in Tehor Sub-College, Kansen. So there, I happened to be there. My dad took us, I was around 8 years old and my brother was 11. So he escaped from Kham, Tibet to central Tibet. So we were put up in a Sera monastery under the care of my uncle, who was a Geshe also. But in order to live in the Sera monastery, you had to be a monk. So we had to wear monk's robe for 1.5 years before we lost our country in 1959. So there I met Geshe Tsuga, a brilliant scholar and very nice, very pleasant, and always so smiling and kind. He was already a teacher there at that time. And then, so to make it short, during His Holiness Geshe Haramba degree debate at the Sarache Monastery, with our karmic blessing, Geshe Tsuga and I witnessed His Holiness Geshe debate there. Wow. And then eventually, the Chinese took over the whole of the Lhasa, so His Holiness escaped to India and followed by 100,000 refugees. So did we, Geshe Tsuga and many of the monks and myself, crisscrossing the Himalaya mountains and came to India. We settled a refugee camp in Misamari for 1 year, and then eventually from Misamari, the Tibetans were sent to different part of India. So the monks were sent to Baksa, place called Baksa, very terrible place, very hot and all that. They were sent, and it's called Basa Lama camp, and they studied there. And I was sent to another school. I and my brother was sent to another Tibetan refugee schools. So, and then eventually from Basa was not suitable for monks, so they moved to southern India and established a Sera monastery down there. And Geshela continued his studies, and finally he achieved the greatest achievement, Geshe Haramba degree, which is the highest degree in Buddhist studies. And then eventually Geshe Sopa asked him to teach in the Western countries, and he came to the United States and taught a few centers, and finally he became the resident teacher of Kurukulla. And from there, Geshe, and then I was already in the United States. I came in the 1970s for further education. So Geshela contacted me in Indiana. And so we eventually met after, 50 years later. And from there on, we kept kept in touch with Geshela and met for many times, and Geshela was incredible person with compassionate and loving kindness to his students. He has so many Tibetan students and Western alike, and very likable, and His Holiness is very fond of Geshela. And even right before, few days before His Holiness, Geshela passed out, His Holiness met Geshela, and very blessed. And so I guess that's about it. And it's 3 minutes. It's hard to say everything, so I did very fast. And now,
over time.
Thank
now,
you. Thank you so much.
Geshe Ngawala continues the Geshe Tsulga's great legacy. I'm happy to see Geshe Ngawala is carrying it with profound dedication to the Tibetan people in Boston and the Western alike. So I have best wishes and Tashi Dele.
Yeah, Geshe Tsulga-la,
Yeah,
Tenla, that was so incredible.
Yeah,
To
it's short. In 3 minutes, I cannot summarize everything. So
no, it's just summary. Another time we would like to hear
yeah,
the whole
thank
story.
you so much.
Now we
Everybody,
we traveled from nomad land to Dagi Gompa in East Tibet,
one of
to
the
Bhakta,
greatest,
South India.
and Tajik
Thank
Gamba
you.
has a very strong connection with all the Dalai Lamas. That,
Yeah.
yeah, and
Gupta
even
La,
Okay. Thank you.
let's another time we would like you to speak for a long time. It's very special. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
So moving
단다대 나도 저도 인지싱이 여러 군도 인지 가지 계시게 저도 파티 인지 뵙게 주나. I just saw that some monks can speak English. When we speak, we don't have to do extra. They can, unmute them. We don't hear them. They can hear us. Then they can translate each other. Okay.
okay. So the next
저도
I would
저도 인지싱이 여러 인지싱도 저도 봐 안에 레시 잡 안에 인지 마싱도 들어요. 안에 빠라 안에 가서 깨주쳐 먹어 이제 두세 마사로 너. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Next, I'd like to to read just 2 short paragraphs from Venerable Tsunmala. Her ordination name is Jumpa Drolkar, and before then she was Su Macy. Su met Geshe Tsulga in the late 90s, and she was very devoted for many, many years. And yeah, I can't say more than that, no time. She now lives in Alaska, which she's following Geshe Tsulga's advice for her life. And she sent me these words to read out during this special occasion. Geshela once asked me, "Can you see Beijing?" I said, "No." He then said, "Does it exist?" I said, "Yes." He said that Westerners have a tendency to verify with their sight. But just because you cannot see Beijing, it does not mean it does not exist. I have never felt separate from Geshe Tsulga because of this teaching. I do not need his physical presence to know he is always with me. And when I get discouraged, I hear his stern voice in my ear saying, "This is not hard. Hell realms are hard." And when the principal of my school, which is she's working at a school in a very remote place of Alaska, and when the principal of my school said to me that I had to get a gun or a dog for my protection, or I had to leave the village, a male puppy that looked exactly like Maha at Sarah House 2, with the same white patch under his neck, appeared outside my door. He came with the name Balto. Balto was the name of the lead dog that got medicine to Nome, where she lives, to save the villagers. He is almost 7 years old now, and Nome is our final destination. So thank you, Tsonmala, for offering those heartfelt words. And then I would like to ask Bill Judge, Geshela's very first American student, to also say a few things just for 3 minutes.
다
Thank you,
저와
Bill.
인지 신경이 콘도 라디오도 저와 심바들 파는데 시 잡라.
3 minutes isn't nearly enough time. Yeah, I first met Geshe Tsulga in 1993, and I'm assuming I was the first Westerner to take refuge with him. And it just made me think today of how fortunate I was to meet him, and how fortunate we are that we had Lama Yeshe to kind of blaze a path to the West for Tibetan Lamas, and for Lama Zopa to ask Geshe Tsulga to come to this country. His meeting him just changed my life completely. And I was so fortunate to meet all of you guys there at House 2A. Some of you guys are too young to remember my first visit, but some of you in the back remember my first visit when I was just so sick and I was lying in Geshe Tenley's room. Every once in a while, I get a gentle hand coming in my forehead, maybe to make sure I was still breathing. But when I was there, it was, see if everybody can see these three: Geshe Tsulga, Geshe Tenley, and Geshe Shakya Sonam. I'm sure all the House 2 monks remember them. Their kindness was just overwhelming. Geshe Tenley went on to teach in Australia, but I'm supposed to talk about Geshe Tsulga. In 1994 is when I first visited House 2A. And I see Tulga in the back, Geshe Tsulga in the back there. He was the first monk that I sponsored at Sarah. But Geshela and I traveled all over India. We went to Dharamsala, Bodh Gaya, Varanasi, and then down to South India. Just too many stories to relate them all. But his kindness and patience with this big dopey Inji was overwhelming. So as much as I'd like to go on, I should probably keep it short. But to all my friends there at House 2A, House 2, I miss you all terribly. And
다 저도 꽤 수적이요. 꽤 수적. 지나도 꽤 시다. 나도 고거 말해. 지나도 꽤 쳐보 잡시다. 된주 시에 왜? 된주 봐 저거요. 된주 저거요. 지나도 꽤 쳐보 잡다. 나도 고거 말해. 지나도 남주 꽤 시하나지. And kundu geg lojida karikari shake. I just told them to translate for who don't speak English. Yep.
Thank you, Bill, so much. I think also we have to make another time where you can also talk for much longer, because I know so many incredible experiences.
yeah, there's so much to the story of the Geshe Tsulga nonprofit coming together and how that all happened. And yeah, I'd love to be able to share it maybe another time when we can have House 2A on the line with us too, and see how they remembered it. It might be a fun conversation.
Yes, it would be.
Good idea.
Thank you. Incredible. Yeah, awesome. Then moving on, the next student I would like to speak is our dear Pat Venter. Pat has been a Dharma student for over 50 years. She met Dejong Rinpoche, very senior Sakya Lama in Cambridge in the late 60s, if I've got that right, Pat, or mid 60s anyway. And Pat has been involved with Kurukulla for a very long time and is currently serving on the board. And I'd just like to invite you, Pat, just to also say a few brief words about Geshela.
Hello, everybody. Do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you. Perfect.
Okay. Thank you for allowing me to speak. And it just doesn't seem possible. You're showing my age, Wendy, 50 years or so. I think it might be a little bit less. But anyway, I am just so happy to be able to speak for a few moments about Geshela. at first I didn't really know exactly what to say. And Wendy, I was going to read a little bit about Shantideva's message to us all because of the suffering that's going on in the world. And Geshela told me at my request to put it in my book, but I won't do that. But because of the sufferings in the world, and Geshela and I had a connection, whereas I would talk to him about different things, share with him my dreams, and he would interpret them for me as such. And perhaps I would have asked him about what to do in addition to the prayers about the suffering in the world that is today. And I can hear him say in my mind, Pat, don't you realize about the impermanence of things? Things are not always here to stay, about karma. And at one point he asked me if I was happy when we were together. And since then I would have said yes, but at the time I said for the moment. So that this is something that I really believe that Geshela would have sort of instructed me to think about happiness and the impermanence of things, and that things are not always as they appear to be, and that things will change, even though, you know, we may not think about that. And I believe that he would refer me to hope, that there's always hope to think about, you know, because of the impermanence of things. And so I would like to read to you the Sanskrit proverb in closing, because I think it alludes to the impermanence of things. Look to this day, for yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision, but today well lived makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. So please, in everything, be reminded that things may change. There is no means of wanting things to stay the same. And thank you so very much for this opportunity. And thank you, Geshela, as well.
Thank you.
Pat, thank you so much for those really wonderful, heartfelt words. I'm so glad we got the Zoom sorted out so you could share. Thank you this morning.
Thank you.
And so I'd like to move along. Deborah, did you want to say one word, or shall I move along to Sean? Is Deborah unmuted? Give Deborah 1 minute. Can we unmute Deborah?
Deborah, you mute.
I just want to say thanks to Geshe so much, because he introduced me to Tibetan Buddhist practice of reading texts and studying, which I really appreciate so much. And so I know everyone has lots of stories, and we'll share them at some other point later. But thank you all for coming to this event.
Thanks, Deborah. So Deborah's also been a student since the late 90s, and she was director and has been involved with the center for a long time, and also very devoted to the study program. So thank you, Deborah. And then our current director is the Indie Fad, anyway, he never gets tired, Sean Gonzalez. And Sean, please, I'd like to invite you now to say a few words about Geshe Tsulga, and then also share the wonderful news.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And so happy to see everybody, to be here, to have House 2A joining us. I have to tell you, this was a dream of mine too, from the very first time that I was there, to have all of us together in this way. And I am so, so, so happy to still be director and be able to see that happen. Seeing Geshe Tsulga-la at the throne I'm so grateful that you all had that thoughtfulness and did that for us. That's wonderful. Seeing Geshe Tsulga, the senior Geshe's House 2A, I noticed some of the monks I sponsor, Losang Gyalten, Sonam Dakpa, Yurmitashi, and I also saw Tashi, Losang Tenzin and Tensi Sonam. It's so wonderful to see all of you. I hope that you enjoyed your chai, which for all Westerners, I can't begin to emphasize how important for you to go to India so that you can have that chai from House 2A. It's the best in the world. I mean it sincerely. Geshe Palgi, I noticed that we're becoming twins. I noticed a little something there. So I'm very, very, very fortunate to have visited two of Geshe Tsulga's homes. He had three countries as homes, Tibet, India, and the United States. And I was fortunate to be in India and the United States, of course. And when I visited in India, I remember very distinctly that even though he was manifesting cancer and really did not look ill to me at all, I have him pointing at me and saying, "Sean, come for a walk." And I thought because of his condition that maybe we were going to walk around the house, and I was wearing shorts. And then I found myself walking with him through the entire town of Sarah J and Kushnagar with him in shorts. This is not something you do in India. Then we found ourselves in the steps of Sarah J, where he's meeting with the senior Geshes of Sarah J. And here I am with the sages of the world, essentially wearing diapers. So this was my experience, my first time experience in India. So very, very fond memories. And when we talk about homes, Geshe Tsulga always reemphasized to us how important it was to establish a home. And he had those homes in Tibet, in India, and the United States. Kurukulla Center started in September of 1989, so a little bit over 30 years, 3 decades. And he encouraged the community very so strongly to purchase a property in Medford. And it was January 2002 that Kurukulla Center members at the time, the community, bought the property. And I cannot begin to tell you with how much pride I can now share with you that 18 years later, we have finally purchased the property. It is all paid up. Thanks to the amazing kindness, generosity of all the members who have supported Kurukulla Center now for 30 years, we were able to do it. I had hoped to be able to announce sooner that this was done, but because of COVID, there have been a lot of complications to make this happen. We still are waiting to receive the deed, to have the piece of paper, but it's thanks to the amazing, relentless efforts and tenacity of Jennifer Miller, our treasurer, that we have finally completed this process. And Kurukulla Center has an established home that we offer to everybody in our community, Geshe Tenley, Lama Zopa Rinpoche. This is the home of the Dharma that we've established in a year so challenging as this year, which is just amazing to be able to do. So with that in mind, I remind you that Kurukulla Center is not just the building, it is all of its community, and its community extends to House 2A and beyond. In whatever humble ways we can support, we do. So with that thought in mind, I ask you to continue supporting Kurukulla Center, House 2A. Geshe Pema Sering and Geshe Tsulga brought us together. And now Geshe Tsulga, the senior Geshes at House 2A, and Geshe Tenley continue to bring us together. So in closing, I just want to express so much gratitude. I've been director for 8 years, quite a while, longest standing director of Kurukulla Center. And today, I'm just so grateful that we finally come together. I really want to thank Kimber, Laura, Jennifer, Wendy, for all the work that you did, putting us everything that's happened today together. And for the Geshe Tsulga Nonprofit Corporation, the board of directors, Geshe Tenley, Sumala, Bill and Andrea Judge, Harry, Jane, Deborah, and Bob, for creating the causes and conditions for us to come together today. So thank you from the bottom of my heart and with extreme pride in all of our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sean. I'm never getting that image out of my head of you wandering around, waddling around in your short diapers. Anyhow, it was a great story. And then great news, if everyone right now totally rejoice in your heart that we own the property at Magoon Avenue, like take that in. It was about $450,000 to purchase. Actually, the purchase date was June of 2020, June of 2001, and it was Sakadawa. The day that we closed and got the key was Sakadawa, which I always thought was extraordinarily auspicious. And then we started holding classes and moved in after 6 months of renovations. We had our first classes January 2002. So thank you, Sean, all your words. And moving along, then Geshela, now would be the time that the Injis were going to recite 2 rounds of the Tara praises.
Just one.
So one time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll do. Okay. Okay. And I just told them to just listen how the English people can recite.
Yeah. And so I think Bob or Jennifer is going to be our umse for the 21 for the praises to the 21 taras, and if we could put the chantable English up, that would be great. Thank you.
Bob, can you chant? I'll put up the
Om I prostrate to the noble transcendent liberator. Homage Tara swift heroic, eyes like lightning instantaneous, prompt from opening statements of the Lord of 3 worlds, true-born lotus. Homage he whose face combines 100 autumn moons at fullest, blazing with light rays resplendent as a 1,000-star collection. Homage golden blue one lotus, water-born and hand adorned, giving effort calm austerities, patience meditation her sphere. Homage crown of Tathagatas, actions triumph without limit, relied on by conquerors' children, having reached every perfection. Homage filling with tutare, whom desire direction and space, trampling with their feet the 7 worlds, able to draw forth all beings. Homage worshipped by the All-Lord, Chakra Adi Brahma Marat, honored by the hosts of spirits, corpses, Gandavas, Yakshas. Homage with her treaded paid sounds, destroying foes' magic diagrams, her feet pressing left out right in, blazing in a raging fire blaze. Homage to her very dreadful, destroyer of Mara's champions, she with frowning lotus visage, who was slayer of all enemies. Homage at the heart her fingers, adorn her with Riju Mudra, like her masses all excited, all directions wheels adorn her. Homage she so joyous, radiant, crown emitting garlands of light, mirthful laughing with tutare, subjugating Mara's devas. Homage she able to summon all its guardians assembly, shaking, frowning with her home sign, saving from every reverse fortune. Homage crowned adorned with crescent, moon all ornaments most shining, Amitabha in her hair knot, sending out much light eternal. Homage she mid wreath ablaze like, eon ending fire abiding, right stretched left and choice surrounds you, troops of enemies destroying. Homage she who strikes the ground with her palm and with her foot beats it, scowling with the letter hung, the 7 levels she does conquer. Homage happy, virtuous, peaceful, she whose field is peace nirvana. She endowed with Om and Soha, destroyer of the great evil. Amici with joy surrounded, tearing both bodies asunder, freeze with hung and knowledge mantra, arrangement of the 10 letters, homage Ture with seed letter, of the shape of syllable, home, backward stamping shakes the 3 worlds, Meru, Mandara, and Vinya, homage holding in her hand the Diamakmona Deva lake form, with twice spoken Tara and Pate, totally dispelling poison, homage whom gods and their kings and the Kinnaras do honor, armored in a joyful splendor, she dispels bodies and conflicts. Homage she whose 2 eyes bright with radiance of sun and full moon, with twice Hara and Tutari, she dispels severe contagion. Homage full of liberating, Papa the side of 3 natures, these voice hosts of spirits, yakshas, and raise corpses supreme Ture. These proves as with the root mantras, and prostrations thus are 21.
Good. I think then dedication or book launch, which one?
Book launch and then dedication after book launch.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Because I think there's still merit that happens at the book launch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much, Bob. Bob is one of the main umzes at Kurukulla Center these days, been involved for a very long time. Thank you so much, Bob. So then now we move on to another very special moment, and I need to keep my remarks very brief. So this happened. This is the book that has manifested called Noble Tara, the Liberating Mother. It is not, it's not a really long book, but it's very precious. It's Geshe Tenley in 2013 gave 3 classes at Kurukulla Center explaining, or, a little bit of explanation of the praises to the 21 Taras. When that happened, there was a student sitting there. Her name is Kimber, and she is Geshe Tenley's primary secretary and has been for a very long time. And she, during the teachings, had the thought, I want to create a book. I want to publish these teachings, or whatever her thought was along those lines. These teachings need to be made available. And so this book, as everything does, comes from the tip of a wish. And there was one student, Kimber, who then followed this thought, this wish, just didn't leave it as a thought or a wish, or just didn't procrastinate, which a lot of us do, but then started talking to me and other students. And then 3 years ago, we had a formal meeting, and she expressed her desire and how she thought we should go about doing this. And Geshe Tenley was at that meeting. So we were very excited to do this and really appreciated Kimber's vision. And we said, we said, oh, we can probably do this in a few months. Actually, I believe maybe I said that if we focus, we can do it in a few months. And Geshela said, oh, maybe it'll take a bit longer. Well, it did. It took 3 years, but it did get finished. I'd like to say something too about the name of the publishing activity. So the publishing activity is called Kalo Books, and this was put together by Kimber and her team. Kalo is Geshe Tenley's mother's name. So I found out yesterday only that when Geshela was young and he was a nomad running around with no pants on, right, in the nomadic region. Anyway, when he was very young, just herding yaks and just wearing, cloth and very simple life. I think Geshela said you were about 8 or 9. Geshela's mother, Kalo, taught Geshe Tenley word by word how to recite the praises to the 21 Taras, well before Geshela could read, which Geshela didn't learn to read until he joined the monastery when he was 19 or 19. And Geshela's mother, Kalo, wanted him to become a monk, but Geshela's father wanted him to get married and to stay in the village and have a family and continue, to help with the yaks and the herding and so forth. So Geshela actually had to run away, and he nearly didn't manage because his brothers came after him, but then he did run away, and he managed to go over the mountains, the Himalayan mountains, and found Geshe Tsulga in India at teachings with His Holiness in Sarnath, when His Holiness was giving the Kala Chakra initiation at the end of 89 in the beginning of 1990, I think. And so really, I think it was Geshe Tenley's mother who planted that seed, and then how Geshela is with us today, continuing Geshe Tsulga's legacy. And so, yeah, so we got it done, and we please rejoice. And I'd like to then hand, and the logistics are, if you go to Kalo Books, KAYLO books.com, you can order it. We're just requesting $1 for the hard copy plus postage, and then you can download it PDF or other on your other devices, and that's a free download. So Geshela, would you like to say a few words now?
Okay, thank you everyone. It's a very great honor. It's very wonderful. We all come together as we celebration to the Geshe Tsulga-la's 10-year anniversary. Thank you for all of you joined with us. It's very wonderful. Also, thank you for all the monks also joined with us. And from India, it's pretty late, but still they joining us. It's also, we got very great blessing. They recite the, root text on Panjara Paramita is we great merit and good put the good imprint for all of us. Then I don't have much to say. Is the book is also I received it from I learned from my mom. The second also we recite and monastery always. Then also I received the full transmission and commentary from my real Guru Geshe Tsulga. Then after he passed away, after 10 years, like today, we available also show some book. I'm sure there's nothing special, the meaning, but all the years, students to effort to make the book. I'm sure maybe 100 years later, maybe some people can benefit. But even not, but we got big blessing and with big connection for all of us. Therefore, I like to say all the team workers for this happened the book. Then thank you for all of you. Then for everyone to come together and celebration, this is wonderful. Then everyone's homework is to make sure you recite one time King Apure for today, for luck, millions of people lost their life by COVID-19. We dedication that for the vigilance, what's that? Memory Day is very grateful. Okay, lasso and Tujana. And missing our case as me and again the mama somala to the Yimbo Chason and Lady Namaso and the Gonsesio, Kinyo Shojarina Daya, Sani Churame went automatic. Okay,
Geshela, let's do dedication prayers, short dedication prayers.
Now that Kundo Inji to Kundo and watch it. Okay, yeah, Kimber. Now also Wendy.
Yeah, Jennifer can pop up the dedication prayers that we recite in English with Tibetan tune. It was Geshela's first translator, David Malk, who took the words, the meaning, and put them with the tune so we could recite in tune. Through this virtue may I swiftly, having gained Guru Buddha state, place each and every sentient being without exception. In that state, precious supreme Buddha, unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. In that snow mountain and source of every benefit and joy, Medford Tenzing Gyatso Chen Rezig, remain in life till samsara's end. Tong Ni Ning Je Lam Che Che Sal Se Gang Chen Dogon Shagna Pe Mo Tenzing Gyatso La Sol Wa Deb Se Je Dun Lun Drub Shog. One more page. Tub so chang shin jam gun gel wei ten zing kyung pel wei kun ze dog po ze chog sum kur wei leg mun tu dru pa dog so dul je gun du jap ten shu. Me tse we te chen chen rizik dream kien pe wang po jam bel yang gang chen ke pe tsu gian song ka pa lo zan drug pe jabla so what meg me tse we chen rezik dream kien pe wang po jam pel yang ke pe tsuk yan song ka pa lo zan dag bla
Thank you to everyone.